Alright, so I'm just doing a little demonstration here of the AR tracking in the dive well simulation. So we have the four tags, and we have Triton here. And let's bring up some TFs. Uh, that's a bit much, I think. Oh my god, what? Wrong thing. Yeah, so you don't need most of these frames. We're just going to be looking at the AR tags and the sub. So we only really need the depth and the, well, no, we only need the baselink frame and the map and ODOM frames. Where is the map? Map, ODOM. Alright, that's what I wanted. Alright, so Triton now is running with some really basic odometry. It's the worst model ever. I literally just guessed this number. So this could obviously be tuned in much, much better. But yeah, you can see we initialized in the dive well at a kind of a weird place. We're in the middle, right? So first thing I'm going to do is dive down a little bit. So obviously we have the depth sensor on Triton, so we have some depth control. And we have the IMU, so we have pose information. But we don't have X and Y, which is why we're using that very naive thruster odometry. So you can see if I add a little strafe, it's going to strafe left here, or right. I'm strafing to the right. So it's moving here in its odometry frame, it's moving in real life. But as you'll see in a moment, it's quite wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the AR tag tracking. You're going to see as soon as it starts seeing those tags, it's localized itself. So notice it's on this side of the dive well. We can see it's roughly accurate if we spin around here and we take a look at this path marker. It's about where we expect. Looks like still maybe, oh, I gotta rotate all the way. Okay, now it's centered in the frame. See, that's pretty well aligned. So let's take a little trip around the dive well. You can actually see the magic LEDs. It's another localization method we'll be trying here soon. So you can see our ODOM frame moves as we localize. And most of the motion is due to the fact that we have a lot of error in our odometry estimates. So let me see if I can make a discontinuity happen. So far, it's managed to keep a tracking tag in frame the majority of the time. So it's working surprisingly well, right? Like we pretty much know where we are in the map, so we can do global navigation. So here I should not have any tracking. So let's just say I pretend we went without tracking and we just used our kind of poor odometry here for a minute. Let's see what happens when we get a lock again. Yeah, you can see big jump in what is being published by odometry, but our frame for map moved, so we know where we are in the world again. I think we'll be able to use this to drive right up to the dice. Let's see, I'm just gonna kind of focus in here without kind of trying to look at the real map. Oh god, something horrible happened. I think that's what happens when you partially occlude the tags. They can get a really bad solve. Okay, so we're passing the dice, so I'm hitting the brakes. I'm trying to go a little to the right. So yeah, so you can see our global pose solve using the AR tags is pretty good. You know, I'm looking at dice 1. I'm hovering a little bit behind dice 5. So our global pose solve is pretty good. And there's obviously some discontinuity, some jumps. If an AR tag is partially occluded, it'll give us a really bad map position very briefly. But this should be good enough for global navigation around the dive well with Triton and some poor thruster odometry.